The desert base was quiet. Only the soft hum of machines and the wind outside broke the stillness. Commander Ethan Cole sat alone inside the Earth Alliance Observatory. Blue lights from the control panels shone on his tired face. He had been listening to the stars for 6 long years. Every night, he waited for something, a sound, a pattern, a sign of life. But the universe always stayed silent. Tonight felt different. The air itself seemed tense, as if the world was holding its breath. Ethan sipped his cold coffee and looked at the endless data scrolling on the screen. Suddenly, a line of red text flashed, unknown signal detected. Ethan froze. His heart beat faster. He leaned forward and turned up the volume. A low hum filled the room, steady, repeating, alive. Beep, beep, beep. It was rhythmic, like a heartbeat from deep space. Ethan's hands shook slightly as he started recording. Control, this is Base Delta. I'm picking up a repeating signal from Sector 9B. It's structured. Static answered. Then the radio clicked alive. Copy that, Delta. Maintain observation. Do not respond until verified. But Ethan could not stop himself. Curiosity burned stronger than fear. The signal felt personal, like someone whispering through the dark. He adjusted the frequency, and the sound became sharper, a pulse mixed with faint, melodic tones. Then a voice came through. Is anyone there? Ethan froze in place. The voice was soft, almost human, but slightly distorted, as if spoken through water. This is Commander Ethan Cole of the Earth Alliance, he said slowly. Identify yourself. Static. Then the voice again, clearer this time, female, calm, curious. You can hear me, human. Ethan's breath caught. Yes. Who are you? Where are you transmitting from? A long silence followed. The monitors flickered. Then came a quiet laugh, a sound too real to be artificial. So it's true, you exist. Ethan looked at the data stream. The signal was coming from Virex 12 Nebula, far beyond human travel range. Whoever she was impossibly far, and impossibly advanced. He tried to steady his voice. Are you an alien intelligence? Alien, she repeated softly. Perhaps to you. We call ourselves the Virex. I am their queen. Ethan swallowed hard. His mind raced. A queen. A civilization calling itself Virex. He had dreamed of contact for years, but not like this, not one-on-one, voice-to-voice. Why contact me? He asked. The voice hesitated. Then, almost tenderly. Because you were listening when no one else was. Ethan leaned back, speechless. Before he could respond, the lights flickered, and the entire base shuddered. Energy surged through the monitors, filling them with a bright white glow. Ethan shielded his eyes. When the light faded, a faint figure appeared on the main screen, a tall woman with silver eyes and long white hair that shimmered like stars. She looked both human and otherworldly, her armor shining with patterns of light. She watched him in silence. Then she smiled. You are the first of your kind I have seen, she said. Ethan whispered, You're real. Real enough, she replied. Her voice was gentle but filled with power. You seek companionship in the void. So do we. He felt his pulse quicken. What do you want? She tilted her head. I want to understand you. The room temperature dropped. The lights dimmed until only her glowing eyes remained visible on the screen. Tell me, Ethan Cole, she whispered. Are you alone, human? The words struck deep. He tried to answer, but his throat felt dry. Something about the way she said alone sounded more like a warning than a question. Then the signal cut off. All systems died. The screens went black. Only the echo of her question remained in his mind. Ethan stood in the darkness, breathing hard. The base was silent again. He checked the logs, the entire recording was gone, erased as if it never existed. Suddenly, a single monitor blinked back to life. Text began to type itself. You are not alone. Ethan stepped closer. Who's there? He whispered. The words changed. I am coming. Then the monitor went dark again. Outside the base, in the cold desert sky, a single bright light appeared, a point moving faster than any known ship. Ethan stared through the glass, unable to look away. Deep inside, a mix of fear and fascination grew. He didn't know if this was the beginning of contact, or the beginning of something much darker. The sun was rising over the desert when Commander Ethan Cole stepped out of the observatory. He had not slept all night. Her words still echoed in his mind. "I am coming." The desert air was cold, yet sweat clung to his neck. He stared at the orange horizon, half expecting a ship to appear at any moment. But there was only silence. Inside the base, the computers were dead. Every file about the signal had vanished. The system logs said nothing unusual had happened. It was as if the universe had erased the evidence. Ethan knew it was real. He had heard her voice. He had seen her face. He could still feel the strange warmth in his chest when she looked at him through the screen. He sat at his desk, whispering to himself, "What are you, and why me?" Then the power flickered. The monitors turned on again by themselves, glowing with a faint silver light. Lines of code appeared on the main screen, symbols, not from any human language. The patterns pulsed like breathing. Then a single message replaced them. "Prepare." Before Ethan could react, the ground shook. A deep, humming sound rolled through the base, low and endless, like thunder under the earth. He ran outside. High above the desert, the sky was burning white. Something huge was descending, silent, smooth, glowing with blue energy. It was not falling, it was arriving. Ethan shielded his eyes. The object stopped in midair, about 100 meters above the ground. The light faded, revealing a ship, long, silver, alive with flowing light veins. It looked more like a living creature than a machine. The surface rippled as if it was breathing. A soft beam touched the sand, and the air shimmered. Ethan felt his chest tighten. He knew, somehow, that she was inside. The beam brightened. For a moment, everything went silent, even the wind stopped. Then the light formed into a shape, tall, graceful, familiar. The alien queen stood before him. Her eyes glowed silver under the morning sun. Her hair moved slowly, like strands of light. She wore armor made of living metal that reflected the colors of the sky. She was taller than him, yet her presence felt calm, almost kind. Ethan took one step back, speechless. He wanted to speak but could not find words. The queen smiled slightly. "Do not fear, human. I mean you no harm." Her voice was softer in the open air, filled with an echo that sounded like many voices together. Ethan swallowed hard. You're real." "You doubted?" she asked. "I thought, maybe I imagined you." "Imagination is the door between our worlds," she said gently. "You opened it." Ethan took a deep breath. "What do you want from me?" The queen looked at the horizon. "Your world is changing. A storm is coming. We watched for centuries, waiting to see if your kind could stand alone. But now, we must decide." "Decide what?" She turned her gaze back to him, and for the first time he saw sorrow in her eyes. "Whether humanity should be saved." Her words hit him like a blow. Ethan stepped forward. "Saved from what?" The queen looked up to the sky. The clouds above them twisted, darkened. The air shimmered. "From yourselves," she whispered. "And from those who come after us." Lightning flashed, though there was no storm. The ship behind her pulsed brighter. Ethan felt the vibration in his bones. "I came because you were listening," she said. "You believed someone was out there. You believed connection was possible. That faith is rare among your kind." Ethan frowned. "If you knew me, why test me like that? Why ask if I'm alone?" The queen stepped closer. The air around her shimmered with tiny lights, like dust made of stars. "Because being alone defines what it means to be human. You fight wars to prove you are not. You search the stars to find meaning. I wanted to see if you could hear another voice and still be yourself." Ethan shook his head slowly. "I don't understand." "You will," she said softly. Then, for a brief second, her hand lifted, elegant, glowing. A spark of energy touched his forehead. The world around Ethan vanished. He was standing among stars, floating in the black sea of space. Planets spun around him. He saw Earth, small, blue, fragile. Then another world appeared beside it, red and broken, surrounded by the remains of machines. A deep voice echoed in his mind. This is what happens when life forgets how to listen. He gasped for air. The vision disappeared. He was back in the desert. The Queen stood where she had been, calm and silent. Ethan staggered. What was that? A memory, she said. My people once had a world like yours. He looked up at her ship, now humming softly. You destroyed it. We lost it. To our own pride. Ethan felt a chill. He realized she wasn't here to conquer, she was here to warn. But the question remained, why him? Before he could speak, the radio on his belt came alive. Base Delta. Unidentified craft detected. Military units inbound. Ethan's heart dropped. No, don't. But it was too late. In the distance, dark shapes appeared, helicopters and drones racing toward the base. The Queen looked at the sky. They fear what they do not understand. Please, Ethan said, don't hurt them. Her silver eyes softened. Then you must make them listen. The ship behind her glowed brighter. The light began to rise around her body, like wings of fire. She looked at him one last time. Remember, human, the question was never about you being alone. It was about your world. The light consumed her. In seconds, she was gone, leaving only a circle of scorched sand. The ship vanished into the clouds with no sound, no trail, nothing. Ethan fell to his knees, staring at the empty sky. The helicopters circled above, searching, but found nothing. He whispered, she's real, and she's warning us. As the sun climbed higher, a faint echo rang inside his mind, her voice, distant but clear. We will meet again, before the end. 3 days had passed since the desert event, but Commander Ethan Cole had not left the base. Every system was under military control now. Soldiers guarded the perimeter, helicopters circled, and reporters shouted questions through fences. Ethan sat in a small interrogation room, staring at the metal table. A man in a grey suit entered, Director Mason from Earth Alliance Command. He dropped a file on the table. Commander, you claim a non-human being appeared before you. A Queen of Virex. Ethan looked up slowly. I don't claim it. I saw it. Mason crossed his arms. There's no record, no signal, no visual data. Every file is blank. Convenient, isn't it? Ethan's voice stayed calm. She erased it. Their technology is beyond ours. Mason leaned forward. Then why leave you alive? Ethan didn't answer. The memory of her silver eyes still burned in his mind. He finally said quietly, because she wanted me to deliver a message. Mason's expression hardened. What message? She said our world is not ready for what's coming. Mason studied him for a long moment. We're moving you to Central Command. Until further notice, you're under investigation. 2 soldiers entered and led Ethan down the corridor. As they passed the observation window, he noticed something strange. The monitors that had been dark for days flickered again, glowing faint blue. One line of text appeared across every screen. Listen. The lights burst. Sparks flew. Alarms rang. The soldiers froze in panic. Ethan broke free and ran back to the control room. The main monitor showed an image, Earth, viewed from space, wrapped in thin silver lines like veins. Then a voice filled the speakers. Humanity is deaf to the quiet. You destroy the harmony of the void. It was her voice, the alien queen. The soldiers stared at the screen in shock. The image changed to show multiple symbols, then faded. Mason rushed in, shouting, "Cut the power. Now!" The room went dark. When the lights returned, the message was gone. But every person there had heard it. Later that night, Ethan sat alone in his quarters. Outside, searchlights swept across the desert. He could hear radios crackling, people arguing, frightened, trying to explain the impossible. He whispered to himself, "You said I must make them listen. How?" Then his wrist communicator beeped. A secret channel opened. The voice on the other end was shaky but familiar. Dr. Lena Shaw, a scientist who had once worked with him on deep space signal analysis. Ethan, I saw the feed. Half of command is hiding it, but I recorded a fragment. That voice was real. Ethan's heart jumped. Lena, you have the data. Yes, but they're coming for me. Meet me at Station 9, midnight. Alone. The line cut. Ethan grabbed his jacket and slipped out through the emergency tunnel behind the base. The desert night was silent except for the distant hum of drones. He moved quickly, keeping low among the rocks until the glow of Station 9 appeared ahead, a small research outpost half buried in sand. Inside, Dr. Lena Shaw waited beside a portable terminal. Her hands shook as she inserted a small data chip. Watch, she said. The screen showed a few seconds of distorted video, silver light, a tall figure, and Ethan's own voice saying, "Who are you?" Then the voice replied, "You are not alone, human." Lena whispered, "She exists. You weren't hallucinating." Ethan looked at her. Then why erase the rest? Maybe she doesn't want the world to panic. Or maybe she's protecting you. Ethan frowned. Protecting me from what? Before Lena could answer, the power died. Red warning lights flashed. The door exploded inward. Alliance soldiers poured in, rifles raised. Commander Cole. Step away from the console. Ethan shouted, "Listen to me. She's not an enemy." No one listened. Two soldiers grabbed him while another took the chip. Mason walked in behind them, calm and cold. "You were warned not to spread this nonsense." Lena glared at him. "It's not nonsense, Director. If she wanted to attack, she already could have." Mason didn't reply. He nodded to the soldiers. "Take them both." As they dragged Ethan outside, thunder rolled across the clear night sky. Everyone looked up. A bright silver line streaked through the clouds, then stopped, hovering above them. The same living metal ship appeared, massive and silent. Panic erupted. The soldiers aimed their weapons, but Ethan shouted, "Don't shoot." The ship released a pulse of blue light that spread like a ripple through the air. The soldiers' weapons shut down instantly. Radios went silent. A single beam touched the ground in front of Ethan, forming a shimmering circle. The Queen's voice echoed across the desert. "Humanity stands at a door. Which side will you choose?" Everyone froze. Ethan stepped closer to the light. "Why are you showing yourself again?" "Because time is short," she said. "Those who followed us are near. They do not seek peace." Ethan looked around. The soldiers were terrified, unsure whether to flee or fire. Mason whispered, "What does she mean, those who followed?" The Queen's tone darkened. "A war is coming, born from the same silence you live in. They will hear your fear before your words." The light around her flickered, then vanished as suddenly as it had appeared. The sky went dark again, leaving only stars. Silence fell. Ethan turned toward Mason. "Now do you believe me?" Mason's voice was hollow. "If she's telling the truth, we've just invited something worse." That night, Ethan and Lena were kept under guard, but neither could sleep. The faint hum of the Queen's words still rang in their ears. "They do not seek peace." Ethan looked out through the small window toward the desert sky. Far away, a red light moved among the stars, slow, deliberate, and growing brighter. He whispered, "They're already coming." The next day, the whole planet was awake. Every channel, every broadcast, every screen showed the same headline. "Unidentified object sighted over Earth. Military confirms possible extraterrestrial contact." Inside Central Command, the air felt heavy. Soldiers hurried between terminals, voices cracked over radios, and satellite feeds showed strange energy signatures in orbit. Commander Ethan Cole stood at the center of it all, flanked by Dr. Lena Shaw and Director Mason. The massive display on the wall showed three glowing shapes far above Earth. They were moving closer, slowly, deliberately. Mason turned toward Ethan. "You said she warned us. Is this them?" Ethan nodded. "She said those who followed her were coming." Lena whispered, "If they're enemies, we need her help." Mason frowned. "And how do we contact a being that erased our systems?" Ethan looked at the blank communicator on his wrist. She'll find us, if she wants to. Outside the base, the desert was quiet. The air itself seemed to wait. Suddenly, one of the shapes in orbit broke formation and began descending through the clouds. The object was huge, dark, and burning with red energy. Unlike the Queen's silver ship, this one looked alive in another way, sharp, predatory, almost like a creature made of metal and fire. Alarms rang. Unidentified craft entering atmosphere. Everyone rushed to the viewing deck. The red object cut through the sky like a falling star. It stopped miles above the ground and hovered. The clouds twisted around it like smoke. A soldier whispered, "Is that a weapon?" The object opened. Thousands of glowing fragments poured out, forming smaller drones that spread across the sky like a swarm. They weren't attacking, yet, but their formation looked organized, intelligent. Ethan's stomach tightened. "They're scouting. Measuring us." Mason barked orders. "Prepare interceptors. Deploy defense satellites." Lena shook her head. "No. If you fire, they'll see it as war." But Mason was already shouting commands. Moments later, the sky filled with human aircraft. The first missiles launched. The red drones scattered like angry hornets. In seconds, beams of crimson light cut through the air, destroying the planes one by one. The control room exploded with noise. "We're losing units. They're too fast." Ethan slammed his hand on the console. "Stop the attack." No one listened. Fear had taken control. Then, a familiar voice whispered through the speakers, calm and clear. "You were warned." Everyone froze. The lights flickered, and a new image appeared on the main screen, the alien queen. Her silver eyes glowed brighter than before, her expression grave. "They are the Draveks," she said. "A race born from silence and greed. They destroyed our worlds. Now they have found yours." Mason stepped forward. "If you knew they were coming, why not stop them?" "Because it is not my war to fight," she answered. "But it will become yours." Ethan shouted, "Then help us." The Queen looked straight at him. "I will, but your people must choose. You cannot fight them as humans alone. You must become more." Lena frowned. "What does that mean?" "You must see as we see. Hear as we hear. Only then can you stand against the dark." The screen pulsed with light, then went dark. Outside, the red swarm began descending toward the surface. Mason shouted, "All ground forces ready. Seal the base." Ethan ran to the window. The desert sky burned red. Drones were landing miles away, forming strange geometric patterns in the sand. The ground trembled. Lena gasped. "They're building something." Ethan narrowed his eyes. "No, they're opening something." A deep rumble rolled across the landscape. The sand split open, and a massive ring of fire rose from the ground, spinning slowly. Inside the ring, black mist twisted into a vortex. "A portal," Lena whispered. "They're bringing more of them." Mason turned to Ethan. "If your queen wants to save us, now is the time." Ethan looked up at the storm forming above. He didn't know how, but he felt her presence again, like a voice inside his mind. "Ethan, step into the light." He turned and saw a faint silver glow appearing just outside the base, hovering in the air. Ignoring the shouts behind him, he ran toward it. Lena called after him, "Ethan, wait." He didn't stop. The glow expanded until it surrounded him completely. For a moment, he was weightless. Then everything changed. The world around him disappeared, replaced by endless silver space filled with stars and light. He wasn't on Earth anymore. The Queen stood before him, surrounded by ethereal shapes, other beings of light, their faces hidden but familiar. "This is the realm of memory," she said. "Here, your thoughts are open, your fear has no shadow." Ethan looked around in awe. "Why bring me here?" "Because your kind must decide. I can give you what you need to fight, but once given, it cannot be undone." "What kind of power?" "The bond between human and Virex, a shared vision, a shared strength. It will change you." Ethan hesitated. "Will it make me like you?" The Queen's voice softened. No. It will make you more human than you have ever been. But with it comes pain. He thought of the red swarm, the burning sky, and the soldiers dying outside. He took a deep breath. I'll do it. The Queen raised her hand. A beam of silver light struck his chest. Ethan gasped as energy flowed through his body. Memories, images, and sounds from the Virex flooded his mind. Planets burning, cities shining, endless wars, and hope reborn. He saw through her eyes for a moment, the fall of her own world and the birth of fear in humanity's reflection. Then it was over. He fell to his knees, panting. His veins glowed faintly with silver light. It is done, the Queen said. You are now the bridge between our worlds. Ethan looked up. Then let's end this war. The Queen nodded. Return, and lead them. The first shadow has fallen, but it is not the end. The light around him faded. He found himself back in the desert, surrounded by soldiers. Lena ran to him, shocked. Ethan, your eyes, they are glowing. He turned toward the sky, where the red swarm was now descending in full force. A strange calm filled his voice. Then it begins. The desert burned red under the alien sky. The ground trembled as the Dravex swarm advanced, thousands of dark drones moving like a single mind. Every radar, every screen inside the Earth Command base showed the same impossible sight, an approaching wall of energy. Commander Ethan Cole stood at the front line. His eyes glowed faint silver under the helmet's visor. Beside him, Dr. Lena Shaw watched in awe. Ethan, you're different. He didn't answer. The hum of power inside him was alive, like a second heartbeat. He could hear whispers from far away, voices not human yet somehow familiar. The bridge stands, the bond awakens. Ethan clenched his fists. The energy within responded, rippling through his veins. Lena, he said quietly, we're not fighting them alone anymore. Inside the command bunker, Director Mason monitored the battlefield feeds. Status report, he barked. Enemy units advancing, 3 kilometers and closing. Defense drones are offline. EMP fields not working. Mason slammed his fist on the console. Get me Commander Cole. A soldier hesitated. Sir, he's outside. Alone. Mason's eyes widened. What? Outside, the wind howled. The red swarm formed a perfect circle around Ethan. He could feel their eyes on him, cold, mechanical, hungry. Then, from the largest Dravex ship, a deep voice echoed through the air. You carry her light, human. That makes you our enemy. Ethan shouted back, this planet is not yours. It will be dust, like hers was, the voice replied. Without warning, a blast of crimson energy fired from the ship. Ethan raised his hand, instinctively. A pulse of silver light erupted from him, colliding with the blast. The explosion shook the desert, throwing sand and fire into the air. When the dust cleared, Ethan was still standing. His armor glowed faintly with alien symbols. Inside the bunker, the soldiers stared at their monitors in disbelief. Sir, he blocked it. Mason whispered, impossible. Ethan felt his strength fading slightly. The energy was powerful, but heavy. He heard her voice again, calm and distant. Use balance, not rage. The bond is harmony. He nodded silently. The Dravex drones attacked again. Ethan raised both arms. Silver energy surged outward, forming a shimmering dome that covered the base. The blast struck the shield, shaking it but not breaking it. Lena watched from inside, her eyes wide. He's protecting all of us. Mason stared at her. What did she do to him? Lena replied, she didn't change him, she awakened what he already was. The ground shook again. The largest Dravex ship lowered its claws into the sand, opening a burning rift. From it emerged something massive, a creature made of dark steel and molten energy. It roared like thunder. Ethan stared up. They've brought a Titan. Lena whispered, terrified, what do we do now? Ethan's voice was calm. We make them listen. He closed his eyes. The silver light inside him expanded, his mind reaching beyond Earth, beyond the air itself. He saw the Virex Queen, standing in her realm of light. Her expression was solemn but proud. "You have become the bridge," she said. "Now, show them what it means to be human." Ethan opened his eyes. The world around him slowed, his thoughts sharpened. He leaped forward, moving faster than the eye could follow. He struck the Titan's leg, sending a wave of silver fire through its body. The creature roared, stumbling. Ethan landed hard, gasping for air, but the ground beneath him began to pulse with light. Where his feet touched, glowing lines spread like veins through the sand. Lena watched the pattern forming on the monitor. "It's a Virex sigil. He's channeling their energy field." The pattern glowed brighter, then erupted upward, forming dozens of silver shards that took shape as drones, Virex sentinels, reborn through Ethan's bond. They streaked toward the red swarm, colliding in midair. Explosions filled the sky. Red and silver lights battled above the desert, their flashes lighting up the night like stars at war. Inside the command room, Mason whispered, "He's turning the tide." Lena replied softly, "He's not fighting for power. He's fighting for understanding." Mason frowned. "You think these creatures can understand peace?" Lena looked at him. "No. But we can." Outside, Ethan faced the Titan again. Its molten eyes burned with hatred. He raised his hand one last time, gathering everything he had. The silver aura grew until it surrounded his entire body. "You said I wasn't alone," he whispered to the Queen's voice. "Then fight with me now." The sky flashed. For a brief second, a giant shape appeared behind him, the Virex Queen's form, translucent and immense, merging her power with his. Together, they unleashed a single, blinding beam of light that cut through the Titan's chest. The creature howled and collapsed, its body turning to dust that scattered in the wind. The red swarm faltered. The Dravex ship began to retreat, its engines burning bright as it ascended into the clouds. Silence fell. The war was not over, but the first victory belonged to Earth. Ethan fell to one knee, exhausted. His armor dimmed, and the silver glow faded from his skin. Lena ran to him, kneeling beside him. "Ethan, are you okay?" He smiled weakly. "Still human, I think." She helped him stand. In the distance, the horizon was calm again, only smoke and stars remained. Mason approached slowly, helmet in hand. "You just saved the planet, Commander." Ethan looked at him. "No. She did. I only listened." Mason hesitated. "Then maybe, we should start listening too." Ethan looked up at the stars. "She said they'll come again. And next time, not just for war." Lena frowned. "Then what?" Ethan's eyes glowed faintly once more. "For judgment." That night, the base was silent. Ethan sat alone on the roof, watching the stars. Somewhere out there, he felt her watching him too, the alien queen, patient and distant. Her last words echoed softly in his mind. "The bridge stands. But even bridges can break." Ethan whispered, "Then I'll make sure it doesn't." For 3 nights the desert was quiet. The red glow had faded, the air was calm, and the world was trying to pretend that nothing had happened. But Commander Ethan Cole knew the silence was only the start of another storm. He stood outside the base watching dawn rise over the dunes. Every day his reflection looked less human, faint silver lines still shimmered beneath his skin. He could feel the Virex energy pulsing softly inside, waiting. Behind him, Dr. Lena Shaw approached, holding 2 cups of black coffee. "You didn't sleep again," she said. Ethan smiled tiredly. "Sleep's harder when you keep hearing other people's thoughts." She frowned. "You mean the Queen?" He nodded. "Sometimes it's her, sometimes it's something else." Inside Central Command, tension was growing. Director Mason had ordered every file about the Queen and the Virex bond locked under Omega clearance. He didn't trust what Ethan had become. When Ethan entered the briefing room that morning, the atmosphere was ice cold. Mason's eyes followed him like a weapon. "Commander," he said, "Earth Alliance thanks you for your service. But as of now, you are relieved of duty." Lena froze. "What? After everything he's done?" Mason slammed a folder on the table. Inside were photos, Ethan surrounded by silver light, alien runes glowing beneath his skin. "Tell me," Mason said sharply, Are you still human? Ethan met his gaze. You wouldn't ask that if you'd seen what I've seen. Mason stepped closer. You're a security risk. We can't fight an alien war with an alien inside one of our commanders. Ethan's jaw tightened. You're making the same mistake they made, fear before understanding. Mason snapped, take him to containment. 2 guards moved forward. Lena shouted, don't touch him. Ethan raised his hand slightly, not in anger, but instinct. The lights flickered. The guards froze, unable to move. Stop, Ethan whispered, his voice echoing like 2 voices layered together, human and Virex. I don't want to fight you. Mason stepped back, frightened. What are you? Ethan's glow dimmed. Still what I've always been, the bridge. That night, they locked him in a reinforced glass cell. The hum of the power inside him felt like a heartbeat echoing in the walls. He sat quietly, staring at the ceiling, waiting for the Queen's voice. For a long time, there was only silence. Then, softly, she spoke. You are tested, Ethan. Power means nothing if trust is lost. He whispered back, they don't trust me anymore. Maybe they shouldn't. The bridge must stand between 2 rivers that never meet. You cannot choose one side. He sighed. That's easy for you to say from another world. Not another world. The same pain. Different shape. Her voice faded, leaving only the hum of machines. Hours later, alarms screamed through the base. Lena rushed to the control room. What happened? A terrified soldier replied, Dravek's signal detected, inside orbit. They are back. Mason shouted orders, but the systems were glitching. Screens flashed with unknown code, the same symbols seen before the first invasion. They're hacking our satellites, a technician yelled. Defenses are falling. Lena's eyes widened. Ethan, we need him. Mason hesitated. If he turns on us. Lena cut him off. Then we're already dead. Minutes later, the containment cell door opened. Ethan stood in the center, eyes calm but glowing bright again. Mason met him at the entrance. You heard. I felt it, Ethan said. They're not attacking from space this time. They're already here. What do you mean? Ethan closed his eyes, listening, not with ears but with the strange new sense inside him. Whispers filled his mind, deep and metallic. Find the bridge. Break it. Silence the light. They've infiltrated us, he said quietly. Through the network. Through code. Lena frowned. Digital infection. Ethan nodded. And it's spreading fast. They ran to the command center. Screens glowed blood red, showing distorted human faces speaking in alien tones. Every security drone turned its weapons inward. Mason cursed. They've taken control of our systems. Ethan stepped forward. Then I'll take it back. He placed his hands on the central console. The silver light flared through his veins, spreading into the circuitry. The machine screamed, lights flickering violently. Lena watched in awe. His fighting them inside the system. Inside Ethan's mind, another battle began. He found himself in a dark void filled with glowing red lines, the Dravek's code, alive and hungry. A shadowy figure appeared before him, a Dravek's commander, made of light and steel. You think you are a bridge, it hissed. But bridges fall when both sides pull. Ethan's reply was steady. Then I'll hold. He surged forward, his silver energy colliding with the red storm. The impact sent waves through the digital space, shattering symbols, breaking chains. Pain shot through his body. His vision blurred. He screamed, but he didn't stop. Outside, Lena held his shoulders. Ethan, you're burning up. He gritted his teeth. Almost, there. The last red sigil shattered. The base screens went dark, then slowly rebooted, showing blue again. The attack had stopped. Ethan collapsed. Lena caught him, trembling. He whispered, they were trying to erase her. The Queen's memory, from my mind. Mason stared. Erase her? Ethan nodded weakly. If the bridge breaks, the worlds lose each other forever. Hours later, After medics left, Ethan sat on a cot, pale but alive. Lena sat beside him. "You saved us again." He shook his head. "No. I just stopped the test." She frowned. "The test?" "The Queen said I'd be tested, not by them, but by us. Humanity's fear is the real enemy." Lena touched his hand. "Then we'll prove her wrong." Ethan looked up, his eyes still faintly silver. "I hope we have time." Outside the window, a strange shimmer crossed the night sky, not red, not silver, but gold. It pulsed once and vanished. Ethan's voice dropped to a whisper. "That wasn't them, or her." Lena turned. "Then who?" Ethan stared into the stars. "Something else has seen the bridge." The night sky shimmered like broken glass. Stars blinked faintly, then vanished behind a thin golden mist spreading across the horizon. From orbit, satellites sent strange readings, radiation, soundless frequencies, patterns no one could explain. Inside Earth Command, alarms pulsed softly, not red this time but gold. The monitors didn't show warnings, they showed symbols. Circular shapes, moving like ripples across water. At the center of each symbol was one word: listen. Commander Ethan Cole sat in the observation room, pale and restless. His connection to the Virex pulsed faintly in his veins. The silver glow had turned dull, almost fading. Dr. Lena Shaw stood beside him, eyes fixed on the glowing horizon. "That's not the Dravex," she whispered. "And it's not the Queen either. This is something new." Ethan nodded slowly. The third voice. Hours earlier, Ethan had heard it first, soft, strange, and neither human nor alien. It had whispered into his thoughts like wind across glass. Two paths joined. A third now opens. He hadn't told anyone yet. He didn't understand it himself. Now, as golden energy spread through the atmosphere, the entire world felt it too. Phones buzzed. Machines stopped. The global internet froze for 11 seconds, and every screen showed one glowing phrase. "The balance demands witness." In the command center, Director Mason slammed his hand on the table. "What does that even mean? Who's doing this?" Lena replied, "It's not a hack. It's everywhere, in every frequency, every channel. Like it's woven into the planet." Mason turned to Ethan. "You have a link with those aliens. Can you reach them? Ask your Queen what this is." Ethan closed his eyes, focusing. The Virex bond pulsed faintly, then a familiar voice answered inside his mind, weak and distant. "Ethan, the signal is not ours. It is older than both our races." He opened his eyes slowly. "She says it's ancient. Something that existed before even them." Lena looked uneasy. "Older than the Virex or the Dravex? That's impossible." Ethan shook his head. "Nothing's impossible anymore." Minutes later, the golden light above the desert condensed into a single point. A beam of soft, radiant energy descended slowly, touching the ground a few kilometers from the base. Sensors went wild. Radiation, 0. Energy signature, unreadable. Yet every person who looked at it felt the same thing, peace, but heavy, like standing inside a heartbeat. Mason shouted, "Seal the base. Nobody goes near it." But Ethan was already walking toward the exit. Lena grabbed his arm. "Ethan, don't. We don't know what it is." He turned, his voice calm. "That's exactly why I have to go. It came for me, for the bridge." She stared at him, torn between fear and faith. "Then at least take me with you." He nodded once. Together, they stepped into the desert night. The beam shimmered brighter as they approached, humming softly like distant music. When Ethan came within 20 meters, his body reacted. The silver light in his veins flickered violently, as if trying to resist. Lena whispered, "It's affecting the Virex bond." Ethan gritted his teeth. "It's not hurting me, it's testing me." He reached out a hand toward the golden light. For a second, the air stilled. Then, a voice, deeper and clearer than any before, spoke directly into his mind. "Bridge of flesh and memory, you carry 2 songs. But can you bear a third?" Ethan's knees buckled. The sand beneath him glowed gold, swirling like liquid. Images flooded his head, stars dying, worlds colliding, civilizations fading into dust. He saw the Virex rising from light, the Dravex born from shadow, and between them, an unseen watcher of both. He gasped, "You were here before them." "I am the echo," the voice said. "The balance that binds creation. When harmony breaks, I speak." Lena knelt beside him, watching helplessly. "Ethan, what's it saying?" He whispered, "It calls itself, the echo. It says balance must be restored." "The Queen and her enemies are fragments of the same source," the echo continued. "Two sides of one origin. The bridge must now decide which truth survives." Ethan felt his heart pounding. "I can't choose between them. Both sides deserve to live." "Then both will die," the echo replied coldly. A blinding light erupted around them. Lena screamed as the world vanished. They stood now inside a golden void, endless and weightless. Across from Ethan stood two figures, shimmering like ghosts. The Virex Queen, glowing silver and calm, and a Dravex warlord, burning red with rage. The Queen spoke first. "He is not yours, Echo. His heart belongs to life." The Dravex roared. "He carries your poison, alien witch." Ethan looked between them. "Stop it. You both want the same thing, survival." The Echo's voice thundered across the void. "There can be no peace without choice." Suddenly, energy wrapped around Ethan. His hands began to glow, one silver, one red. He felt both powers pulling him apart. The Queen's eyes softened. "Ethan, remember who you are. The bridge does not choose sides, it connects them." He clenched his fists. "Then I won't choose. I'll bind you both." He slammed his hands together. A shockwave of gold tore through the void. The silver and red lights twisted together, forming a spiral of blinding energy. The Echo's voice screamed, not in anger, but in awe. "You rewrite the pattern." Ethan shouted through the storm, "No more war. No more separation. You said I must bear the third voice, then let it be one that unites." The golden energy surged, merging silver and red into a single color, bright white. The Queen and the Dravex both vanished into light. Then everything went silent. When Ethan opened his eyes, he was back in the desert. The golden beam was gone. The air was still. Lena knelt beside him, trembling. "Ethan, what happened?" He looked up at the stars. "They're gone. Both of them, but not destroyed." She frowned. "Then where are they?" He touched his chest. "Here. Inside me. Together." Lena stared at him. "You mean you?" He nodded slowly. "The bridge isn't just between worlds anymore. It is the worlds." In the distance, the horizon glowed faint white, not threatening, not violent, but calm. A new dawn rising. That night, as silence returned to Earth, the world didn't know it had changed forever. But Ethan knew the balance had shifted. He could still hear the faint whisper of the Echo. "The bridge holds. But peace is never still." He looked up at the stars and whispered, "Then I'll keep walking it."